They called humanity primitive. A species barely worthy of entry into the Galactic Academy, a place where students bent gravity for homework and solved quantum puzzles before breakfast. Humans? They were expected to fail, quietly and quickly. But then came a single test. An impossible exam the Academy used to humble overconfident geniuses. No one had ever solved it in under an hour, until one human sat down, glanced once, and finished it in 12 seconds. And the galaxy hasn't stopped whispering since. If you're into stories where humans surprise the universe in the best ways, go ahead and tap that like button. Subscribe if you want more HFY moments, and share this with someone who appreciates a good humans aren't supposed to do that kind of tale. Alright, let's break this story down. The Galactic Academy didn't simply look down on humanity, it barely noticed them. In a place where starborn species shaped magnetic fields with a flick of a wrist, humans arrived with clumsy tech, loud curiosity, and nervous smiles. To most of the Academy, they were background noise, a temporary experiment, a species that would quietly wash out within a semester. When Jace Morgan walked into the orientation hall, that judgment hit him instantly. Rows of shimmering students, crystalline bodies, floating minds, scaled scholars, all turned to stare. A few whispered telepathically, not realizing humans couldn't help but hear the emotional tone behind their thoughts. Pity, annoyance, amusement, primitive. The word wasn't spoken aloud, yet it echoed around him like a verdict. Jace pretended not to notice. He focused on the tall instructor at the front, an Avari with transparent skin and a mind that hummed like a distant star. She introduced the Academy's baseline assessment, a test meant to place students into difficulty tiers. For most species, it was merely uncomfortable. For humans, rumor said it usually confirmed what the Academy already believed. As Jace stepped forward to receive his assignment slate, one question pulsed through the alien minds around him. What is a human even doing here? The assessment chamber felt less like a classroom and more like a cathedral carved out of starlight. Floating rings of data spiraled around the room, shifting colors like living equations. Every species in the Academy had faced this test, and most remembered it the way humans remembered their worst nightmares. The impossible test wasn't named for drama. It was a multidimensional logic construct, a puzzle that rewrote itself the moment someone thought they understood it. The fastest recorded completion time? 51 minutes, achieved by a Threxian prodigy whose brain literally ran parallel neural streams. Jace didn't know any of that. Not yet. He was too busy noticing how the other students kept glancing at him with a kind of fascinated skepticism, the way one might watch a small animal step into a storm. The instructor extended a crystalline hand. "Human candidate," she said, voice echoing like glass. "This exam will evaluate your cognitive architecture. You may withdraw at any point if the strain becomes, 'I'll be fine,'" Jace replied, trying to sound like he believed it. The room dimmed. The test sphere unfolded. Layers of symbols, motion, and alien logic spun in perfect, intimidating silence. Across the chamber, an Avari student whispered, "This WL crush him." The moment Jace's fingers brushed the test sphere, the entire chamber fell into a hush, not out of respect, but morbid curiosity. The sphere pulsed once, eager, like it was already tasting its next victim. Jace blinked. The symbols rearranged themselves into a swirling storm of alien logic. Most students described this moment as drowning in equations. Others said it felt like being swallowed by a collapsing star. But to Jace, it looked familiar. Patterns, rhythms, a strange echo of puzzles he used to solve with his dad on long, quiet nights back home. Different shapes, different rules, yet the flow was the same. He exhaled, the symbols aligned in threads. Threads folded into paths, paths snapped into a single, elegant solution. A soft chime rang through the chamber, 12 seconds. At first, no one moved. The instructor froze mid-blink. A few students leaned forward as if their eyes had betrayed them. Even the telepaths who normally hovered above emotion spilled shock into the air like static. 12 seconds? Someone whispered. The test sphere dimmed, almost shy, as if embarrassed to have been undone so quickly. Jace stepped back, heartbeat steady, and murmured almost apologetically, Was that it? The instructor recovered first, or at least tried to. Her crystalline skin flickered with confused light patterns, the Avari equivalent of a double take. She approached Jace slowly, as if he might explode into equations at any moment. "Human," she said, voice softer now. "Describe what you saw." Jace scratched the back of his neck. Saw? I didn't really see anything. I just followed the flow." He pointed at the still fading holograms. "You know, the way the sequences curved inward? It reminded me of recursive puzzle loops. Once you track the hinge pattern, it all kind of folds." Silence. Alien students exchanged baffled glances. An Avarkian with 3 eyes whispered, "There was a hinge pattern." Another muttered, "The humans can perceive sublayer structures? Their brains shouldn't. That's not possible." The instructor activated the sphere again, displaying the first layer of the puzzle. She projected its internal architecture, a web of logic filters so abstract even advanced species struggled to comprehend it. Yet the solution pathway Jace had taken was visible, and shockingly simple, elegant, human, and above all, efficient in ways no Academy species had ever considered. The instructor stepped back, her voice barely above a whisper. "This changes everything." Word spread through the Academy faster than plasma through vacuum lines. By midday, students from every wing, telepaths, biotechnicians, gravity artists, crowded the halls just to see the human who had shattered the test. Some expected Jace to glow or float or radiate secret power. Instead, they found him sitting on a bench, eating a protein bar and trying not to look overwhelmed. The instructor's report hit the Galactic Council soon after. It wasn't the 12 seconds that stunned them, it was how he'd done it. Humans, it turned out, processed irregular patterns differently. Their brains didn't panic when logic twisted. They adapted, improvised, found shortcuts no algorithm predicted. A counselor summarized it bluntly. "Humans don't solve puzzles the way others do. They fight them." The Academy's tone shifted overnight. "Primitive? No. Unpredictable, innovative, dangerous in the way a wildfire is dangerous, uncontrollable, brilliant, capable of reshaping landscapes." When Jace entered the central plaza the next day, students stepped aside, not out of fear, but respect. For the first time in Academy history, humanity wasn't the species nobody noticed. They were the species everyone was suddenly watching. And whispering one new word: exceptional.